This is the Autonomous ErgoChair 2. Is it the best desk chair you can buy? No.
This video is brought to you by my personal pocketbook, so if you'd like to help me out, like, subscribe, and check out my Patreon page so I can make more videos like this one.
All right, so I want to give an honest review of this chair. I'm going to go through from bottom to top, the different features it has and all of that. But also later on in this video, I'm going to talk about some ethical issues I've run into upon my research of this chair. So if you want to hear about that stuff, if I've alluded to it within my title or the thumbnail or anything like that, you can skip ahead and look at that if you want. But first, I want to talk about this chair. So I, like you, I'm sure, watching this video, was looking for a desk chair to replace my paltry Amazon chair that I'd been using previously. And like many people online, you might have come across this chair from Autonomous. They have other products not too dissimilar from this, claiming that they have these ergonomic chairs that are affordable, and I guess subjectively they do look pretty good. So after seeing some reviews on YouTube, I decided upon actually buying this chair. The reviews on their website were excellent, and most things I found about it looked pretty good. So I went ahead and ordered the chair. It only took about, I'd say, 7 days. It wasn't longer than a week for it to arrive after I hit the buy button. It arrived in this huge box that weighed at least 60 to 70 pounds. And when I took it out of the box, it was obviously disassembled, so I had to put it together. It came with instructions, and those instructions were relatively clear, and I think it only took me about 20 minutes to put it together. I didn't struggle in any particular way. And when it was ready to go, it felt good. I was on a laminate floor, it rolled along just fine, and overall, it felt pretty comfortable. So it's mostly made up of plastic with some metal parts. It has a cushioned seat and a mesh back and a mesh headrest. I'm about 6'1", around there, probably weigh about 200 pounds, just for reference. So if you're wondering if this chair might be comfortable for you, well, that's at least a reference, but definitely check out what other people say, because I've seen different reviews online where people say they weigh and are about the same size as me, but it turns out that they aren't finding this chair particularly comfortable. But also for smaller people, it seems they're having a better experience with it. But anyways, we'll get to that a bit later. So first, let's start at the bottom. So those are the castors, and the castors are pretty standard. There's nothing special about them. But for my experience so far, I've had this chair for about a month now. They've worked fine. They've worked actually quite well. On the laminate floor, it rolls around great. They're not too loud or squeaky at this point. But since then, I've gotten a rug underneath me, and I thought I was gonna have to get one of those plastic sheets to lay down to actually roll over the carpet, but this is a medium pile rug, and in my experience, it's been quite good at actually going over it. I haven't had any issues with it, and I don't feel like I actually have to buy anything to let it roll around on. So next is the height adjustment, and on the right side, there's a little lever there that can let you go down and up like any desk chair that you might have experienced in the past. Now, I'm kind of disappointed by the actual height that this can go. It actually only moves a total of 2.5 inches from lowest to highest. So that is a very small margin of adjustment. Now at its highest, personally, I feel quite comfortable with the seat there. My legs are relatively at a 90-degree angle, but I do wish it could go a bit higher. But again, if you're a shorter person, this is probably going to be just fine. The seat also has a forward and back function, so if you push the lever down on the right side, you can actually move the seat backwards and forwards. In my case, I just have it fully forward. That just works better for me, and I haven't had any issues with it. Now at the back on the right side, there's a small locking lever, and what this does is let you adjust the tilt of the seat. And I believe there's actually only two real positions. There's the kind of neutral position, which is just kind of flat and level. And then the other position is slightly forward. And honestly, I'm sure there's uses for this, and some people might like this if you want to sit really forward on your desk. But I haven't used it. I have had no need to use it. In fact, I would like the opposite. I would like the chair to tilt back a bit further. And speaking about the chair tilt, so it has these two pins there's two locking positions that the pin can lock in. And it turns out that they don't really fit real snug. So you constantly have this, I don't know if you can hear this, but it constantly rocks. And when you're just sitting there, it's not really a problem, but it just makes the seat feel kind of unstable, and makes it feel cheap. It also rocks to the side a bit, which is a bit disappointing. but when you're actually sitting in it, it's not a big deal. But it's definitely something that other people have pointed out online. In fact, there was a fellow who actually cut a piece of wood and jammed it in the back to make sure it would stop doing that. Now on the left side, there's another locking mechanism, and what that does is let you adjust the whole entire chair tilt or rock or whatever you want to call it. So typically you could put it back and you could lock it in any position you really want to, and it goes quite far back. And if you were just relaxing and watching something on your computer or whatever you're doing, it's quite comfortable overall, I think, in that position. And the thing is, on the right side, there's actually a spool, kind of, what would you call it? A winder thingy, but that adjusts the tightness of the spring. So if you go clockwise, you can go, it's got to be like a few dozen turns all the way to one side, and it'll really stiffen it up. So if you're a heavier person, it might work better for you, but at that most stiffness, it's too stiff for me, and I have to really push to get myself back. So I have to loosen it up to actually get my use out of it, go back counterclockwise. And it is actually quite a nice feature, and I do appreciate that. Next one is in the back. There's a small locking mechanism right behind the chair, and that lets you tilt the back, just the back. And this thing I've had a few problems with, mainly that if it's not in the perfect upright position, or even still, it kind of has this give. I don't know if you can see that, but it lends to the chair feeling unstable and kind of cheap in a way. But that can be locked in whichever position you want. But even there, see, if I'm locked all the way back, it's not really, it just feels loose. I'm not confident in that. And within the backrest, there's actually lumbar support that's adjustable, which can easily be adjustable if you're sitting on the chair. I've seen some people try to adjust it while they're off the chair, and it's kind of awkward, and I don't know, it doesn't lend to making it easy to figure out where it might be comfortable. So I just adjust it easily with my hands right behind me to find out where I want it. And some people have complained about the lumbar support being too stiff, but in my experience, it's been quite comfortable, and it's helped me sit up better, because when I had this IKEA chair that I was using before, I just slowly sink into my chair until I'd be like, my back would be just shaped like a banana. But from using this, it's been excellent. It keeps my posture up, and it's almost like a reminder, just having that small pillow on the back to just keep yourself upright. And overall, I feel like my posture is a lot better in this chair overall. Now, I don't have a lot of things to compare it to because I haven't had any other real ergonomic chairs in the past. I've had other desk chairs, but they never had this kind of lumbar support. And overall, with the mesh back and that lumbar support, I find that's quite comfortable. And tying that in with the actual cushion, because I didn't talk much about the cushion yet, is that I find it's quite comfortable sitting on this for several hours straight. I don't find it gets too hot. Again, it's the beginning of winter, so it's not very hot out right now, but overall, I find this chair quite comfortable. And then there's the curious case of these armrests. So if you've seen any of the other reviews, you'll know that they're adjustable, and they can be adjusted up, down, forward, back, and sideways. But the problem is that they're non-locking. They do lock up and down, right? And those are good. They work fine. But these adjust all the time. I want them all the way back. I want them as far back as I can. And I want them even farther back because they're attached to the bottom of the seat. So if my seat's all the way forward, they're going to be pushed forward as well. And I find they could go back a couple more inches and it'd be great. But the thing is, when you go to adjust yourself in the chair, you inadvertently move these armrests. And it's kind of annoying. It's not a feature I like. I would have preferred if they just had them stiff and they weren't adjustable, that forward, back, left, and right. I think they should have ditched that. But overall, I find them, if they're in position, overall, I find them comfortable and good enough. They don't seem to hit my desk. I think maybe one notch below the highest mark. My desk isn't particularly high, so that's good. Other people have complained about them being too high, even at their lowest. But in my experience, pretty decent. Yeah, other than the moving thing, armrests are good. So the last adjustable piece is the headrest. And it's quite hard to move up and down, which I think is a good thing because that means you're not going to accidentally push it back down when you're leaning your head on it. It also has a tilt, which does move occasionally when I'm pushing my head on it, but not really. I don't find it super functional if I'm just sitting in the chair most of the time, but if I'm leaning back and you got that tilt going, I find it quite comfortable. I haven't had any issues with the headrest, and unlike others, people have complained about it. I kind of like it. I find like it comes to the nape of my neck there, and it feels comfortable. And again, that lends overall to the experience of the chair. I find it's overall quite comfortable. But my main issue with the chair is that seat wobble. It just feels unsteady. It's got a left and right wobble. The forward back wobble is much worse because it's compounded by not only the seat moving, but also that backrest not feeling totally secure. For the price you pay, it feels like it should be a little bit better. So if I had to rate this chair out of 5, I'd probably have to give it a 3.5. It's a good chair, it's good, but I think it's a bit more expensive than it needs to be. And there's some reasons that might actually be the case, but we'll get to that in a bit. Other people have complained about it much more. You know, I don't know what it's going to be like in a few months, if it's going to really last. I've seen other reviews of other people who had their last chair that lasted a long time. But again, all of these things that I'm kind of saying right now about this is, if you haven't heard about the stuff I'm about to talk about, it's going to change the way you might think about them. And it's definitely changed the way I've thought about this company and this chair in specific. It's kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. So this started a few days ago when I started research for this video. I started playing around with the adjustments and trying to really get to know it, because once you get the chair, you just set it up like you like it and you kind of just leave it. So I started to notice that wobble much more than I originally did. So I started to do some Googling about it, and like I mentioned before, I found a fellow on YouTube who had made a video about the wobble and had used a piece of wood to jam it so it wouldn't move anymore. And then, as I continued to search about this problem, I came across this Reddit post about this guy who had been using this chair since, I think it was the spring. And he had a lot of complaints about the chair, and he wanted to return it, but I don't think he could because it had been outside of the return period. But what happened after that was it led me down this rabbit hole of all these different things about this company. Firstly being the reviews I found on Reddit that were scathing, which is quite disappointing to find after having a relatively good experience with the chair. Now, what I'm about to talk about is allegedly. Let's put an asterisk on there because this is stuff I found on Reddit. I don't know what's for sure and what's not, who's telling the truth and who's not, and it's the internet. We don't know what to believe exactly. So the first thing I found on there was that this company, Autonomous, had a few Kickstarters. In fact, they had 2 of them that had been canceled. One of them 4 years ago, and that was for an office chair. And I'm not sure the details, the background of it. I can only imagine it might be similar to the second case, which is they had a smart desk that got canceled. There was a message from Kickstarter, and it mainly outlined the problem with Autonomous's campaign. The main things that they cited were the fact that they were trying to sell things that were already created or not created by them. And even in the comments, you can see that some people representing Autonomous were defending this, and when people called them out, they denied it. And even more unsettling was that in a different thread, a poster linked to Alibaba where they were selling this specific chair right now for, I think it was like a fraction of the cost of what Autonomous is selling this for. So there's other companies out there that are selling the exact products that Autonomous is selling. So essentially, from what I gather from all this information, is that Autonomous, they don't make their products. Somebody else makes them, they buy them and rebrand them, which it's weird because that is not necessarily a problem. There's a lot of brands like that do that. Red Bull's a big example where they've rebranded some energy drink and it went huge. They sold it at a huge markup. The thing is, they position themselves and market themselves as this company that cares about ergonomics, right? And they're making these products that, you know, really stand out and are affordable. But when you find out that they don't really even make any of them, they just get their brand slapped on it and resell it at a huge premium, it's makes you a bit salty. If that wasn't enough to make you salty, well, guess what? There was something else that another poster commented, and that was that Autonomous was censoring 1-star reviews on their website. In fact, just simply deleting them. So I had to find this out for myself. So what I did was I copy and pasted this person's original review that they said they posted to the Autonomous website and posted it for myself from my account. And it showed up there as the only 1-star review because it said 0 1-star reviews. Meanwhile, it has thousands of reviews. They do leave up the 2-star reviews, and I think there was, I don't know, a few dozen of them, maybe even over 50. So what I'd like to do now is check out if my review is still there. So we're here on the Autonomous website, ErgoChair 2. Click on the reviews. Well, would you look at that? It's not there anymore. And there's one last thing, and that's the fact that their chairs are constantly on sale. Now, I don't know how some of you feel about this. Maybe some people feel like, yeah, man, that's the internet. That's how it is. Well, it turns out that is illegal in many places. In fact, it's illegal in my country. And considering they're selling on their website in Canadian dollars, shipping within Canada, they're breaking the law. But that aside, just talking about the fact that they're rebranding products and selling them as their own and lying about it and censoring the reviews. If you've seen my video about the AeroZoom foam, you know how I feel about that. So yeah, it makes me real, I don't know what the word is. I don't feel good about it. And I definitely don't feel comfortable giving a recommendation to buy this chair from a company that's going to do that. What else are they going to do? What else are they going to skimp on? What's the customer service going to be like? I've definitely seen a lot of reviews where the customer service has been terrible, especially when people have actual complaints about the chairs. So it's like the AeroZoom position, and this is much worse than that. Let me tell you, if I didn't find all this stuff, I would have happily said, hey, there's other chairs out there around this price point that might be better, maybe, but it's pretty good, honestly. It's not bad. It's comfortable, man. I don't mind sitting in this thing for hours on end. I feel pretty comfortable. It's good. Like I said, my back's supported. It's good. But goddamn, what the hell? Shady shit. Shady shit. So, take that as you will. If you feel like you still want to buy one of these chairs, I'm going to leave my little affiliate link that came with me buying this chair, considering I can't return it at this point. It's been over 30 days. By the way, if you want to return it, make sure you have all the packaging and it's all together perfectly like you found it. Or else, guess what? You're going to get a mystery restocking fee. They don't even tell you how much it is. But anyways, I would personally stay clear of this company. I don't think I'm going to buy anything else from them, that's for sure. Even was considering one of their smart desks for my girlfriend. Definitely not anymore. But anyways, guys, I hope you liked the video. If you did like it, please like it. If you like my channel, please subscribe. I'm gonna make more videos like this one and talking about PC gaming in general. We also have a podcast on the way, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, stay tuned for that. My name is Nick. This has been Tech Illiterate. Thank you for watching. Unlock and rock. Unlock and rock. See? Because if you lock it, you can't rock it. You got to unlock it and rock it.